Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to This is Mariya. Today, we're talking about the energy of colors, the colors that you wear, the colors that are in your home, in your interior design, on the wallpapers, the colors that surround you. Every color is a frequency. Every color is an energy. It impacts your mood. It impacts your state. It impacts your thought process, even your emotional, your mental, your energetic levels. So today we're going to be dissecting the different colors. And I'll be making some recommendations just for fun, but also if you want to follow those, of how you can optimize your life from the energy perspective just by optimizing the colors that you wear. And hopefully this will help you stay more mindful around colors, understanding that those are frequencies, understanding that those are tools, just like the sacred flames, and you can use them to better your life. Now, before we dive in, just a couple of housekeeping items. I wholeheartedly invite you to check out my book, 72 Keys to Manifestation, or An Ancient Path of a Modern-Day Alchemist. That is a book that is full of codes to help you create the life of your dreams. It is esoteric, it is a channeled book, and it is full of wisdom and full of practices. And it's really like practical manifestation. So manifestation, very often a typical book of on manifestation is going to have some very quick alignment exercises and, some visualization techniques. This is way above and beyond that. It talks about certain energy donors and how to align to frequencies. And it's a very practical book. So almost every key has a practical application on like a practice you can do or a meditation you can do. So check that out. It's available on Amazon or Audible. And join thousands of people that have already read the book and have changed their their lives. All right, my darlings, this is fun. I love colors. I love color theory. Frankly, colors are some of the favorite tools that Source uses to codify the universe. That is one very fun way to take the entirety of energies and divide them into segments. And so, of course, the colors that you wear have an impact on your well-being. They can be very therapeutic. They also would help project forth a particular vibration that you are. And so certain colors may be more opportune if you're trying to present yourself in a particular way. And of course, the colors that surround you in your home or your office space, the colors that surround you in your backyard are going to have an impact on how you feel on a day-to-day basis. So let's get mindful around the colors. And today we're just going to look at a few colors, not the entire color spectrum. Of course, that would be quite impossible. Let's start with the color red. Now, if you are familiar with the chakra theory, if you've been working a lot with the chakras, you will find some great similarities between what I tell you here and what chakras are generally responsible for. There are some nuances, however, because the chakra system and what the chakras are responsible for, the root chakra doesn't really fully represent the breadth of the color red in existence. Right? So the color red would always be broader than the root chakra in the same way that the color white is going to be broader than the crown chakra. So let's just leave it there. Okay. First, we're going to be talking about the personal aspect, meaning colors on body. And secondly, we're going to be talking about colors in the outside world. And we'll start with red. Red, one of the brightest colors, with the shortest wave span of the rainbow. It's a very powerful color. Red goes two ways. Red goes into the passion zone, or red goes into the power zone. Both are equally true for human beings. So if you're wearing red, it is a very bold color, obviously. So red is good if you are more of a shy person in general and would like to bring the boldness in you. Red brings out the masculine energies in you. It's more of the yang color, the color of masculinity. So whether you feel like you're too feminine and you would like, for instance, if you're too feminine and you would like a little bit more of a spike of masculine energies, red is really, really good for you. If you want a little bit more of the Martian energies, the energies of war, for instance, if you're a little bit meek and you don't know how to stand up for yourself, or if you would like to, I don't know, if you're going into very tough negotiations and would like to project a lot more power or a lot more confidence that you normally have, red is your color. Red is one of the colors of war. It's actually really, really good for that. Red is very expansive. It's very forward moving. Red is a color that eats a lot of energy, though. So, I'll explain what I mean. When you are wearing color red, if you wanted to give you the benefits such as courage or assertiveness and all of that, it would tap into your natural stream to help co-create that with you. And so I would recommend that you wear red sparingly. It is not a great color to be worn on, every single day. Now, there are shades of red. If we're talking burgundy is not the same thing as red. Burgundy can be worn every day because it's more of an earth tone. Like any of the wine colors that are not true red. The type of red that I'm talking about right now is more like the scarlet, like it's the brighter shades. Those are challenging to wear on a daily basis. In other words, they're going to be recycling through your energy very, very quickly. And then you may find yourself tired quicker because it's a very active color, and that color is going to tap into your resource, not anybody else's, in order to give you that which you want or what you want. So red should be worn sparingly. Red, it burns through things. Red is not great for accessories like a red wallet. It's really hard to keep the money in the red wallet. It's like that energy just keeps borrowing from everywhere in the world. Would not recommend a red wallet if you can avoid that. Red handbags can be potentially problematic as well, just because they can attract certain things to you that, again, red is the energy of fire. How much do you want to surround yourself with fire? Because red it's not the fire of the hearth, and it's not the fire of the bonfire. It's like explosion very often. And so, if you're looking to make an impact, though, or if you're looking to be memorable, if you want people to remember you, if you want them to pay attention to what you say, then you wear red. Because red really makes people stop and pay attention. Red is the color of leaders and leadership. Right? So it's a lot easier for people to pay attention and think of you as a leader if you're wearing red. Red is really, really good for any time. Like, again, it's a color of warriors, right? So warrior spirit is alive in the color red. So if you want to borrow a little bit of that warrior energy, red is perfect for that. But again, just make sure that there's enough resource that you have because it burns very quickly and it needs to replenish itself. Red is also the seductive color, so it's a color of seduction. Now, usually this kind of red would need to be used sparingly because a red in large doses actually equals danger in the natural world. So that's another part, right? Don't overdo the red. Because if you already have a lot of masculine tendencies, if you already have a lot of masculine energies, by putting on the red, it's like masculinity tripled or quadrupled. And that can be intense. It can be intense for other people to be in your presence. It may make your communication harsh or demanding or too authoritarian. And that may rub people the wrong way, right? Just through wearing a lot of red, and I'm not talking like a little bit of red. I'm not talking like a red lipstick, because a red lipstick would not change anything. In fact, the red lipstick takes you into the passion and attraction zone, right? But, full-on red suit, that's a power move, right? That's when you want to assert yourself. That's when you want to be seen. That's when you want to be heard. So that's red. There's definitely, the presence, if you want the presence. Red enhances charisma. Red would enhance communication from the heart. If you need to deliver a passionate speech, the I have a dream type of speech, red is really, really good. Red is the color of revolution. If you would like to build a revolutionary movement, or if you're building a company that is really cutting edge and next level, using reds in your corporate identity documents and like in just colors and like the branding elements could be helpful for you. Red in interior design. Red is good for boudoirs, right? So again, that is that, sensuality. Red does bring up the sensuality, especially for talking softer fabrics, right? So really very much a boudoir color. Now again, depending on the shade of red, the problem with red in interiors, unless it's a dim room, because usually boudoirs are dimmed, right? So you don't have the full impact of color red. Red is a very aggressive color. It's a color of danger. It keeps your nervous system alert. It makes your body secrete adrenaline. It's inducing a fight or flight response. So in general, because of that, red is a little bit problematic in interior design unless it's a very subdued shade, again, like a burgundy or something, which I don't consider red in the first place. Where could red be good if you don't want people to stay too long? For example, if you put a red couch in the living room, you would notice that people don't stay as long because they cannot get relaxed on that couch. Meaning if you have guests over, they're going to want to be out of there, sooner rather than later, right? So again, like you can use that. Like red is a little bit of that. It's not a very comfortable color for like any kinds of wallpapers or any kinds of like large interior design objects. Maybe sparingly in accessories, yes, it can bring in that little cozy fire. Like if you're using like, I don't know, like a beautiful lamp or something that is red, that could bring out like the coziness, like that little cozy fire aspect. But too much red is a recipe for disaster, unless it's, like I said, unless it's a boudoir and you're really going for the Moulin Rouge vibe, and then that's fine. That's really red. Ooh, what color shall we do next? I'm feeling pink. Oh, we're breaking all the rules. I don't know why pink goes after red, but why not? Pink is interesting. Vibrationally, of course, pink is the color of the higher heart. And pink is the energy of universal, unconditional love. Now, that's not really what it represents on this planet. So when we look at the color theory and the energy of colors on planet Earth, there's not a whole lot of unconditional love and unity consciousness to go about just yet. And so pink does not represent that. Pink, of course, represents femininity. I'm not going to be the first one to tell you that. It's like the biggest cliche out there. But really, pink represents the divine child archetype. It represents innocence. It represents the need to want to be taken care of. And that's why I would call pink like the princess archetype color. Not the queen, the princess. And not the king or the prince. It's the princess archetype. So it's the divine child. It's a girl. What are the blessings of the divine child? Like if you're wearing pink, right? And of course there are many shades of pink. We're talking fuchsia is pink and we're talking baby doll pink, or like dust rose is pink, right? Now, the lighter colors of pink we go, the more innocent it is. Of course, fuchsia is not innocent, but at the same time, like fuchsia is more naivete. And that like, ooh, I don't want to, like what it communicates really into the world is that you want to be taken care of. Whether that's by somebody else or by the universe, but it's like this concept of, and that's why they say like wearing the pink glasses or the pink goggles. It's like you're living in this imaginary fantasy fairy tale world, and you don't really necessarily want a lot of responsibility. So pink is this happy-go-lucky color But it's a color of this childlike state. Childlike does not necessarily mean bad, but it definitely doesn't project forth this adult attitude of, I know what I want and I know how to get it. Pink is a lot softer. It's feminine, right? So let's look on the bright side when you wear pink. Pink, especially the more pastel-y pink colors, are going to bring out your softness. They're going to bring out the tenderness. They're going to bring out the hard energies. They will. They make it a lot easier for you to forgive people. They soften your communication. Even your voice tempo is going to soften if you wear light pastel pinks. Pink slows you down. Pink makes you savor the moment. Pink turns you into a hedonist, the one that is just, wants to enjoy life, the finer things in life. It's a color that almost like wants to lead you closer to, like, I don't know, a luxurious lifestyle, but not luxurious like it calls you to savor the moment, to treat yourself, to indulge. The opposite of needing to work, unless it's a very creative endeavor for the heart and something very flowy and something that that's not fully grounded. And if it's art, it's not the art that you need to make money from. Pink can be creative. Pink is very much aligned with the artistic pursuit of like poetry, and it's very connected with the element of air. It's almost like this fragrance of the pink flowers. It's very connected to fairy. Therefore, pink is very much connected to magic, right? And it's so for the people that believe in magic and want their life to be a little bit more magical, pink is really the color, the pink fairy dust. Yeah, the fairy dust is pink for a reason. Pink really opens you up to the possibilities of becoming lucky. And of course, as a divine child, it's when you enlist the universe to be on your side, to just help you out. And so essentially wearing like light pastel pinks, it's almost like putting like a little label on yourself saying, hi, universe, please take care of me. I don't really like too much hard work. If you were to just take care of me, I think we would all be great friends. So that's really the vibration of pink. If we go into the more fuchsia and bright pinks, it is that need for attention, and it is really, really good at attracting attention. What fuchsia helps with is boosting self-confidence. It helps you feel more beautiful. So pink works a lot with the Venusian energies with planet Venus. And the more pastel colors would not have that effect, but the brighter pinks are going to really increase your optimism. So the optimistic outlook, increase your ability to attract the things that you want to attract. So it's a very magnetic color. Because it's a color of the heart and the higher love, and so the heart is magnetic. So it will help you manifest things faster, attract things faster, attract attention as well. Like I said, boost confidence. It will make pinks in general beautify things. Pink just has this uncanny ability to harmonize and make things around it prettier. So if you want to look prettier or fresher, by the way, more youthful, pink makes people that wear it more youthful, appear more youthful. Now, has to be the shade that suits your skin tone, but in general, as a general rule, it does make you feel more youthful. On the other hand, it makes you look or feel or come across a little bit more gullible, a little bit more naive, a little bit easier to take advantage of. And so maybe people may take you a little less seriously than they normally would if you're wearing pink. But again, it depends on your range, right? Like if you are, I don't know, a very authoritarian person, pink is not going to turn that completely off. You are still who you are. It's just the colors do accentuate and they do help, right? It's like putting the finishing strokes. They can shift your energies, but not from 0 to 100, right? So like there are limitations to how colors can play. Pinks in interiors are quite are quite favorable. And it actually almost irrespective of the color. Pinks really help anchor abundance in a household. So they vibrate at the frequency of abundance, just like emerald greens. So they will help attract more wealth into your life, more gifts, more luxurious things, so more expensive things, more refined things as well, like art and things like that. So that's what pink is really, really good for. Pinks are also really, really good for babies, but we're not talking fuchsia pinks. We're talking light pinks, and we're not just talking girls. We're talking all babies. Babies feel actually more loved and more protected and more cared for in pink rooms. Again, unless it's like this borderline red color. Just be careful that it's the right shade of pink. Not the fuchsia, not the one that's borderline scarlet. Like we're talking like the dust rose, the baby doll, that kind of like the very soft pinks. Babies really love that because it makes them feel like they're being cuddled and they're being nursed by mom and all is good in the world. So pinks are really, really good for babies. Pinks are really, really good for to attract actually romance in your life. As cliche as that may sound, right? Everything during, well, not everything, but a lot of things during St. Valentine's Day are pink or red. But yeah, pinks do help calibrate your higher heart, and they and like help harmonize your heart energies in the back. And so they make you more receptive to love and romance. They make you actually a lot more understanding of your partner. So they make you a lot more feminine, right? Like pink does push the feminine energies in you, helping accentuate that softness, that tenderness, that understanding. And yeah, very, very beautiful if you're looking to. So like, I don't know, like a pink love seat, for instance, is a very beautiful addition to the house, right? Because it would help bring out as an accent. It would help bring out the softness and the romance. So I actually love pink for the interior. If you can handle that, if that's not too much for you, there are a lot of benefits to draw from pink. And it brings a kind of not even I mentioned optimism, but it almost like beyond optimism. It's like everything is a glass half full. It's that like belief that everything is going to be okay and everything already is, and beautiful energy. So with the pink, what color would I like to do next? I want to do emerald for no reason other than I want to do emerald. So why don't we do emerald? Maybe because it's the two heart colors going hand in hand. Emerald and green, like let's do all of them. Although of course emerald is not the same thing as green. But we'll do the range. Ooh, greens are very soothing and very calming and very harmonizing. Greens are a very, very resourceful color if you're looking to come back into yourself. If you feel like there's been too much outside interference and you just need to hear yourself better. Green will accentuate your heart chakra. Green will accentuate and amplify your ability to understand yourself better. Green builds up empathy too. So not only do you understand yourself better, you understand other people better. So if you are a coach, if you work with people a lot, if you are a teacher, if you are in spirituality, if you are a counselor, a therapist, whatever your occupation may be, if it requires you to build deep relationships and connections with people, if it requires you to be helpful to people, green is a color that is full of resource for you. Green is a color that is helping also to align you to that universal abundance flow, and to align you to the frequency of nature, because nature does operate at the frequency of abundance. So that's great. It's overall a great harmonizer. And because it amplifies the energies of the heart, it actually promotes healing on the physical level, emotional level, and energy level. of your body. So it's a very healing color to wear. So you want to get better. You want to err on the side of the greens and the emeralds. Emeralds are amazing for all kinds of healing. Beware of the greens that are borderline yellow. You're not going to get healing energies from that. So no like neon green, because that's also like very close to yellow, and we don't want to go in, with these energies, the healing and restoration, rejuvenation. You don't want to go yellow. Because yellow is actually very masculine and it's gonna, activate you as opposed to soothe and heal and pacify you. Green is very resourceful if you are looking to bridge polarities, or if you're a diplomat on a diplomatic mission, if you're trying to harmonize things in groups of people. If you want to make sure that people are not fighting, and that is why green is actually really, really good for interiors in the home. Whether that is for wallpaper or couches, green just brings in harmony. And the right shade of emerald can also bring wealth into the household. So it's actually very resourceful to have all kinds of emerald furniture, armchairs, sofas, you name it. Very resourceful to have emerald things, big and small. So emerald and green is one of those colors that in interiors does not really have too many drawbacks. Again, unless it starts going too neon and too bright, because it's a very calming and soothing color. It's a color that the human body feels very comfortable around. It's a color that brings out the homey energies, right? So it's the moon is very often connected to the energies of the green spectrum, and so it's the energies of motherhood are promoted in the green spaces. Wanting to be the mother, wanting to be the nurturing presence. The energies of generosity are triggered. The energies of wanting to see the perspective of another. So it's a really, really good healing color for relationships. So if you're looking to have a heart-to-heart conversation with somebody where they would truly understand you, wear green. Green, right shades of green, very often make people more likable because green is a non-threatening color, and it makes the other person come across as almost like having an interest in you, right? It makes you look empathetic, more empathetic. And it softens your energy. So if you are a little bit rough around the edges, or your communication is rough, or your voice is a little bit hoarse, green is one of those colors that would smooth out the edges and would make things just flow a little bit better. Green is very much the color of flow and things growing. That's the one thing about color green, is it likes expansion, right? It likes expansion. It likes all kinds of growth. So if you're looking to grow a business, if you would like to, green is really good for sales and selling things, a very opportune color for that. If you have a sales organization, green is really good. Things will grow. So what I'm saying is green is so much more above and beyond just the association with nature. It is so many other things. Growing anything, though. Green would grow anything. That's the only thing. That's the one thing you want to be careful about, is it could grow the good things or it could grow the bad things. So always make sure that your intentions are good and, you're properly aligned. But yeah, green is very, I have a hard time saying anything negative about green. All right, my darlings. In a very random fashion, I'm going to do the fourth color of the day, and that's going to be color violet or purple, for no reason other than I want it. Cool. Purple in, wow, there's so many shades of it that there's a big range of how it would transpire. So maybe let's talk about violet instead of purple, just so that we are a little bit more narrow in terms of scope. Violet, outside of the fact that it is the color of the third eye, and so violet brings out, your inner intuition. Violet really helps you see through people a lot easier. So like it will heighten your perception if you wear it. Make no mistake. So if you are, I don't know, if you're interviewing people and you would like to read them better, violet is a really, really good color to surround yourself with. You don't have to wear it. It could be like a violet object on your desk or in your vicinity. It will help accentuate your, call them psychic abilities or your intuitive abilities, your capacity to see. Violet is also of the more feminine spectrum. Now, if it starts turning to, like, if it's too close to red, then that's when it can start flipping more masculine. But in general, violet is a feminine color. And so it actually promotes things like wisdom. Violet is not a surface type color. It invites you to dive deeper and dive within. It's really good for research from that perspective. So if you want to research and dive deep and really understand the mysteries, wearing violet, surrounding yourself with violet, having violet furniture in your library, if that is your research space, is really, really, really good. Violet is the color that makes you more receptive to the lighter realms, to the subtle forms of energy, to receiving communication from your higher self, to channeling, to accessing the Akashic records, and also to understanding the big picture things. So if you're looking to, like an eagle, rise up 10,000 feet in the air and understand something from the vantage point, a certain vantage point, violet is perfect for that because it does, it's not the color about being in the weeds of something. It's about rising up, getting and gaining perspective. So violet is actually really, really good for decision making. It's really good for any kind of strategy work. It's really good for when you're trying to understand your direction in life or trying to work with your North Star and understand what is it that you should try next or do next. So violet is a very, very good guiding color for you to wear, a very resourceful color. If you just want to be more tapped in, tuned in, and just understand, what's next for you. Violet also makes you a better guide for others. Again, by heightening your perception, by heightening your intuitive abilities. If you're working with people, if you're a coach, if you are a spiritual practitioner, violet is going to help you really accentuate those gifts. Violet inspires creativity that is connected to your soul. So it inspires soul-led creation. It inspires the birth of something new. So it's really good for innovation. It's a beautiful color for innovation and going above and beyond like what has already been anchored into this time-space reality. So yeah, the violet really favors the inventors, the trailblazers. Like it's a really, really good energy for that. Violet in the home is very resourceful, like I said, for research projects, for any kind of introspection, for meditation. It's really good. It's good for, be careful with violet if you want to keep the status quo, because this color brings about change like nobody's business, because violet flame is a flame of transmutation. It'll take the things that no longer belong in your life and it would very actively try to get you rid of those things that no longer belong. Violet is the color of upgrade. So if you don't want to change how things are, or like rather, because like if things are good and you don't want to change, violet is not going to change. Violet only comes into your life and changes the things that are like, that should not be there. Like if you have an abusive husband, and you start wearing a lot of violet, somehow, some way, this relationship is going to work itself out where maybe you're not together anymore. Like violet just has that, like it's not the color for settling for anything that is suboptimal. Violet has this uncanny ability to bring about true change and true shifts in your life. So if you're ready for that, or if you're really committed to having the best life ever and never settling, violet is your companion. I wanted to see if there are any questions from the collective on this reading, because I've been getting some whips, and yes. So go ahead and ask your question as long as it serves the collective. The question is, does the color play out the same for everyone, or does my personal energy impact how the color would reflect itself with me, or how the color would impact me? It's always a symbiotic relationship. It's always a hybrid. It's your personal energy plus the energy of the color. So yes, you're exactly right. You should, there's always a range involved. So there are some colors that at soul level, you are in complete alignment with, meaning you vibrate. There are big chunks of your soul vibrate at that color, or the level, at the frequency of that color. That makes sense. And so, and then you may have some colors that your soul does not yet vibrate at, or repels at, or has resistance towards. Depending on where you fall in that spectrum, certain colors may be your allies and other colors not so much. Some colors you may not feel comfortable in. Some colors you may feel like you're not craving because that energy just doesn't jive with you right now. So I think the most important thing about colors is listen to your intuition. Your body is incredibly wise. Your body always knows best. But yes, you are exactly right by asking this question. It's always a hybrid. You can put 10 people, give them the exact same shade of the red, of red to wear, and they're all going to display various levels of assertiveness based on how much of that they have already come with into this incarnation. Do they already have that as their own resource? And if so, red can just bring this out of them very quickly, no questions asked. But if they have absolutely nothing in the red spectrum to tap into at soul level, and that's not what they showed up with, then red is only going to impact them to a certain degree. So yes, it's always a hybrid. Thank you for that question. The question is, so now, should I be really worried and always obsessing what color I'm wearing? No, absolutely not. Like I said, go with the flow, and sometimes it's just okay to listen to your intuition, because it's impossible to monitor every single thing that you need for every single occasion, every single day. Your life would become too bloody complicated anyway. And so, the reason I'm giving and providing this information is for you to become mindful around how colors can impact your life. I think colors, perhaps, with clothing, you change it all the time. And sometimes, yes, if you want to induce a certain feeling, you use a color. But in interior design, that's perhaps where you want to pay special attention to the colors, because if you buy a couch, it's going to be with you for many years, very likely. And it's going to, anchor a particular frequency inside of your living room or wherever the couch is. And you may not know why people don't stick around, but it's because you have a red couch and that just repels people, if you know what I mean, right? So probably interior design is where you want to be a little bit, if not a lot, more mindful around the colors that you use. Like interior design, your home, and the furnitures that you buy. With clothing, I think just a simple awareness is good enough, but listen to your intuition, what your body wants to wear today, because your body is extremely wise, and it's already probably calibrating for thousands of factors that you have not even thought about. And so I'm actually a proponent of, don't create yet another thing for you to worry about. That is not the point of this video. The point of this video is for you to leverage the energy of colors when it serves you and drop it when it does not. All right, my darlings. Please let me know in the comments if you're loving this, if you want me to be doing more colors, because this is really fun for me, but I just want to make sure that this is helpful. Let me know if you want more. And if you've been, resonating with all of the energies that I've described, and if you have noticed how these colors impact you in your life. All right, my darlings, big virtual hug to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.